Welcome to the Binge List, fellow TV and film fanatics. I'm Greg, and I make recommendations for TV shows and movies that you can access from the comfort of your own home. And the drama genre is packed full of outstanding titles, but today I do want to focus in on the ones that are based on real events that you can jump into and binge right away. I included crime, action, psychological thrillers, business, sports, and plenty of others, along with one of my new favorite titles here on this list today. But before we get started, now that the channel has started to make a little bit of money, I do want to get back to all my subscribers. So like this video, comment on your favorite series, and subscribe to the channel, and you'll get entered into a drawing for a $100 gift card at the end of this month, and you can put it towards your favorite streaming service. But as always, stop mindlessly scrolling, stop wasting your time. Let's jump in and check out the list.
Right then. You're not to tell anyone. Understood?
First on our list is the 2024 Hulu miniseries Say Nothing, and this is a gripping historical drama series that delves into 4 decades of the Troubles in Northern Ireland and is based on the book of the same name. The series follows 2 stories that are happening pretty much at the same time, and the first is the story of Jean McConville, who was abducted by the IRA in 1972 and her family's attempts to find her, as well as the other side of this story, which is the IRA and its inner workings. And this is a slow burning character-driven story that explores the lives of these very complicated characters. It shows you their involvement in this conflict and that there's really no simple heroes or villains of this story. The characters on both sides have moments where they do absolutely horrible things to each other and their enemies, but also have moments where their humanity shines through all this, making it very difficult to root for or against anyone really throughout this. And these characters only amplify what is already a very intriguing story that is woven together through moments in time over 40 years. You have family drama, betrayal, political intrigue, and so much more that they're able to cover in this series as it evolves over its 9 episodes. And this might sound a bit confusing, but the production team actually does a really great job keeping you caught up with everything that's going on, along with bringing both narratives together and really tying them up neatly in the end. So check out Say Nothing for a thought-provoking and emotionally charged exploration of a dark period in history.
I'm pleased to report that the situation in Chernobyl is stable. In terms of radiation, I'm told it's the equivalent of a chest x-ray.
Next up is another historical miniseries that chronicles the events of the 1986 disaster with Chernobyl on Max. This one depicts the Soviet Union's response to this nuclear accident, highlighting the government's initial cover-up of all this and the heroic efforts of those who worked to contain this disaster after the fact. And I'm no historian here, but every review and recap that I read surrounding this series praised its historical accuracy, talking through how the production team meticulously researched this and accurately portrayed the events that led to this and what followed the disaster. This one does deliver a gripping and suspenseful story, even though we kind of know how this ends, but blending historical drama with horror and thriller elements, and the production design and cinematography in this one are top notch. It looks really amazing, which only draws you into this story even more, creating this haunting and realistic experience. And the last thing that I will say about this one is that the cast crushes it in this series. Jared Harris, Emily Watson, Jesse Buckland, Stellan Skarsgård are all phenomenal in this. You really get some truly impressive performances. Chernobyl, it's been widely praised by critics and audiences alike, winning numerous awards, and it is absolutely worth checking out for yourself.
Psychopaths are convinced that there's nothing wrong with them, so these men are virtually impossible to study, yet you have found a way in near perfect laboratory conditions.
Hello, lady.
Let's move forward to our first Netflix title on the list here with Mindhunter. This is another critically acclaimed series here on the list today, and this one delves into the mind of some of the world's most notorious serial killers. It follows 2 FBI agents, Holden Ford and Bill Tench, as they pioneer the field of criminal profiling in the 1970s. As we follow these 2 create the FBI's behavioral science unit, we do get to explore early efforts to understand the disturbing minds of these men, which I must say does deliver some of the most graphic and disturbing subjects of any of the titles on this list. So if that's not for you or that's not something you can handle, I would definitely skip this one. But if you can handle it, the show does offer a suspenseful and thought-provoking story exploring the darkness in this world. And I really enjoyed the 2 main characters played by Jonathan Groff and Holt McCallany together in this show. Their chemistry is outstanding. The chemistry between these 2 is actually one of the main reasons that I stay committed to this show. They have these very contrasting personalities that create this really compelling dynamic that does help drive the story forward. And both individually deliver powerful performances, capturing their intensity, the collaboration, and the dedication of their characters. And I will say it is disappointing that this one got canceled after its 2nd season, but it's still a must watch for fans of true crime and psychological thrillers.
Imagine you were born in a poor family, in a poor country, and by the time you were 28 years old, you have so much money you can't even count it.
The next title here is one of Netflix's most iconic original series, and this is Narcos. This is another gripping crime drama that takes you on the rise and fall of the notorious Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar. It also details the actions taken by law enforcement as they battle the war on drugs, taking a look at the dangerous world of drug trafficking, political corruption, and law enforcement itself. Again, not a historian here, but the series is said to be fairly accurate here, focusing on depicting real events and characters, but dramatizing and sanitizing things a little bit for that Hollywood effect, offering us just a glimpse into the dark side of the drug trade. This is another set of strong performances from actors like Wagner Moura, Alberto Amon, and Boyd Holbrook, but is certainly a staple performance in the rise of Pedro Pascal as DEA agent Javier Peña. If you enjoy intense and suspenseful storytelling, this one is going to give you a lot of that, with tons of focus put on the cat and mouse game between Escobar and the DEA throughout the series. And I definitely want to shout out the cinematography and sound design in this one too. It is done really, really well. It captures the beauty of Colombia, but also this incredible amount of danger lurking around every single corner of this world, creating a striking backdrop for the story. I will mention that there are some disturbing moments throughout this one, but if you can handle that, Narcos is absolutely worth checking out for yourself.
This could become a cultural phenomenon, the likes we've never seen before.
Well, then we better get started.
My next pick here is one of my personal favorites on this list here, where we get to explore the filmmaking industry in the 70s with The Offer. This is a 10-episode limited series that delves into the making of one of the most iconic films I think ever with The Godfather. It follows Al Rudy's experience and offers a behind-the-scenes look at the very crazy and difficult production process to make this movie come to life. I do think that one of my favorite parts of the series is that we get this glimpse into Hollywood's history. It's not just a behind-the-scenes look of how the movie is made or an interview with the crew, but highlights the creative clashes, personal struggles, and industry politics that almost stopped this film from ever even happening. And believe me, there is so much that went into this, which gave this series all the intensity and drama you could ask for to create a captivating and suspenseful narrative. And also, a big draw for this one is that incredible cast. It's led by Miles Teller as Al Rudy and Matthew Good as Robert Evans, who both are great, but you also get Dan Fogler, Burnt Gorman, Colin Hanks, Giovanni Ribisi, June Temple, Lou Ferrigno, and a slew of other familiar names here. So if you enjoy the filmmaking industry, The Offer provides a unique and insightful look at the challenges and triumphs of this world, making it a must-watch for movie lovers and history buffs alike.
They're pain. These people, my people, trusted me. I can't believe how many of them are dead now.
Then our sixth title here is the Hulu original series Dopesick, which is a powerful and disturbing limited series that explores the opioid crisis here in America. The series follows multiple interconnected storylines, including a doctor who becomes addicted to opioids, pharmaceutical company executive who pushes for increased sales of a highly addictive painkiller, and a DEA agent who is investigating the epidemic. Again, another laundry list of great actors and actresses in this one, with Peter Sarsgaard, Will Poulter, Caitlin Devers, and Rosario Dawson. But to me, Michael Keaton really delivers a particularly powerful performance in this one as Dr. Phoenix. At the start, he is this compassionate doctor who becomes addicted to opioids, but he humanizes this entire series. His character goes from this well-intentioned doctor to a man struggling with addiction. It is truly heartbreaking to watch him go through this, but Michael Keaton brings this to life. You feel everything that this character is feeling. It's a really, really good job. The series as a whole is a compelling and thought-provoking story. It does explore this serious issue from multiple angles, and it does shed light on the devastating impact that this has on individuals, families, and even communities. Dopesick is a captivating watch. It delves deep into this world of addiction and complex factors that lead to this crisis. Absolutely worth checking out.
Hey, Dr. Bus.
I'm going to buy the Lakers.
Ah, no kidding.
Welcome to sunny Los Angeles. Great for tans,
Tell them to win the championship one of these days.
shit for fans.
All right, let's move forward to something that's a little bit more lighthearted with the HBO Max original series Winning Time: The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. This one is a sports drama series that chronicles the professional and personal lives of the 1980s Lakers, one of the most iconic and dominant dynasties in NBA history. And this one takes a look at the glamorous and often larger-than-life world of professional basketball, capturing the on-court rivalries, off-court drama that define this era in the sport. And it does focus in on some key figures during this time like Magic Johnson, Jerry Buss, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, exploring their ambitions, their rivalries, and their personal lives, and literally everything in between. I will say that this is a fun and engaging story being told that feels similar to The Offer in my mind, in a way that we get a behind the scenes look at this iconic moment in entertainment history. And yes, this is a sports series, but professional sports is a form of entertainment in my mind, so the series does a really good job blending it together with sports drama, super interesting characters, and the historical context that goes along with it. And yes, this is another super talented cast that portrays these iconic figures of this era with John C. Reilly, Jason Clarke, Solomon Hughes, but to me, really, Quincy Isaiah steals the show as Magic Johnson. He brings to life the infectious charisma and larger-than-life personality of the real Magic, and it is crazy how much he looks like him. It's honestly uncanny, which makes the performance feel that much more authentic. And this series really captures the essence of this time. It features vibrant and stylish production design, capturing the glitz and glamour of the 80s. So check out Winning Time. It does capture this legendary era in NBA history. It's definitely a must-watch for basketball fans, but it's also a great series for drama enthusiasts too.
I heard that you like my product. We can make a lot of money together.
Up next is the title that I have talked about a few times before on the channel, but it is an outstanding addition to this list here, and this is Netflix's original miniseries Griselda. This one tells this true story of Griselda Blanco, who is this notorious Colombian drug lord known as the Black Widow. We follow her rise to power, her ruthless tactics, and her impact on the global drug trade. And a big draw for me going into this one was Sofia Vergara. I loved her from Modern Family and her other comedic roles, and even judging America's Got Talent, and I was excited to see her do something very, very drastically different than her other roles. But in this one, she does deliver a captivating performance, and it shows off her great range as the complex and ruthless Griselda, fully transforming herself into this cunning and brutal character. The series definitely offers you this compelling story as you watch Griselda's journey from poverty all the way to absolute power, and she is fueled by ambition and this desire for a better life. And the story does not shy away from how she got this better life. It does offer a realistic and unflinching portrayal of the violence and ruthlessness associated with the drug trade. And I was really shocked because this one did have some mixed reception from the audience and the critics themselves, but Griselda remains a compelling watch for those interested in true crime.
You know you're not God, right?
Well, you have to admit, I do look a little bit like him.
So let's move forward and discuss the Apple TV Plus original miniseries here, WeCrashed. This one here shows the rise and fall of a company named WeWork, which was a once promising co-work space company that grew from a single co-working space into a global brand that was worth $47 billion in under a decade. Then in less than 1 year, due to some craziness, its valuation plummets, and the show focuses on the charismatic yet controversial couple Adam and Rebecca Newman, who founded this company. Immediately you will notice the two A-listers who are leading this one, with Jared Leto and Anne Hathaway. These two deliver amazing performances as Adam and Rebecca, capturing their complex and complicated personalities and the intensity of their relationship with some odd yet incredible chemistry. And if these were real people, then they must have been some of the weirdest people, because Hathaway and Leto transform into these just truly wacky people. And I actually watched the documentary of WeWork before watching the series, and the real life story of this meteoric rise and collapse by itself is pretty riveting, and the series itself amps it up Hollywood style, of course, but this lets them use this as a cautionary tale about ambition, greed, and even some type of cult personalities. So if you're looking for a unique option, WeCrashed is a solid true crime and business story with an incredible leading duo that makes it a fun watch.
All she wants to do is keep me safe.
Sometimes people like to paint a rosy color on things when the truth really isn't very pretty.
Next up is the Hulu original The Act. And this one to me is one of the darkest and most disturbing options here on the list. I know we have some drug cartels, nuclear explosions, but this one I do want to give out a forewarning because this is a true crime drama series that delves into the toxic and complex relationship between Dee Dee Blanchard and her daughter Gypsy, and it explores Munchausen syndrome, which is a mental disorder in which a caregiver fabricates or induces illnesses in a person that's under their care. We have Patricia Arquette and Joey King leading this one, and they really dive into their characters here with Dee Dee and Gypsy. It is hard to take your eyes off of these two. They have exceptional chemistry and bring the horrors and the emotions that these characters are going through on screen. Having kids of my own, sometimes it was very hard to watch. To be honest, this was a really chilling depiction of these two real people. And as the story goes on, you do see this graphic look at things like manipulation, deception, and then ultimately murder. So if you have an itch for a true crime drama series that's a little bit darker and maybe a little disturbing, the complex relationships that have shocked the world in this series is a solid option.
And I want to tell my story. And I promise you, when we're on the other side of this, things will be better. To La Familia.
One more true crime option that's on this list here today is the series The Staircase. You can find this 8-episode miniseries on Mac. This story follows crime novelist Michael Peterson, who is accused of murdering his wife Kathleen after she is mysteriously discovered dead at the bottom of their home's staircase, and also the 16-year legal battle that followed it. This is another option on the list that does have a great documentary that you can watch before or after the series to get an even deeper look into the nitty-gritty if you choose. But I did watch it beforehand, so I did have an idea of how the real-life case was going to go, but the series does give us a fascinating dramatization of the complex and high-profile case. They do dive into numerous details around the legal process, the police's investigations, all the way to the courtroom itself. But if you can hold off and watch the series before the documentary, it's a pretty intriguing mystery that you get to follow along with. It keeps viewers guessing, exploring multiple theories about Kathleen's death, slowly unveiling details with each episode that makes each theory seem plausible. Like many of the others on the list, this does have a solid cast. You've got Toni Collette, Sophia Turner, Dane DeHaan, so some really quality acting overall in the series, but Colin Firth really takes the cake here. He makes the character Michael feel real and captures the character's intelligence, his charm, and even his really emotional and vulnerability. So another really great option for true crime buffs here with The Staircase. So normally I try to avoid duplicating titles within the same month or two to provide you with a variety of options, but I am going against it with my next title, and this is Senna. And both of the times that I recommended this up to this point were prior to its actual release, but I have finally gotten a chance to watch this one, and this is the sports miniseries that follows the legendary Formula One driver Ayrton Senna's life. This series delves into his early career, his rise to fame, and his tragic death. And if you heard this before, I'm going to say it again. I do really enjoy Formula One racing. And this series itself, it does explore a lot of that with Senna's racing career and also his rise to fame, including his early karting days. So that's a really interesting aspect to dive into, but it also dives deep into his personal life, his relationships that he had going on, and really the impact the pressure of fame put onto him. And all of it feels super authentic, from the personal side to the lavish world of Formula One racing. The racing moments are fun and they're adrenaline filled, and they give you tons of stunning visuals to bring the thrill and the danger of the sport to life on screen. So again, I don't normally recommend the same shows this many times this close together, so hopefully that shows how highly I recommend this one. Definitely check out Senna.
It's an inspiring step forward.
This isn't just my job. This is who I am.
Let's move back to Hulu for our next option on the list here, and this is The Dropout. This is a crazy miniseries based on a true story that does depict the rise and fall of Elizabeth Holmes, who is the founder of a company named Theranos, which was a blood testing company that promised this revolutionary technology. However, soon the dark side of her relentless pursuit of success appears as you uncover the deception and the flawed technology behind her company. And yes, again, we have a miniseries with a pretty great cast here. Amanda Seyfried does lead this one and plays Elizabeth, and her performance in this is done really well. She has tons of charisma and determination with a little bit of a psychotic side that pops up throughout the story. And the supporting cast is filled with actors and actresses that I do really like, with Utkarsh Ambudkar, Naveen Andrews, William H. Macy, Sam Waterston, Stephen Fry, and Dylan Minnette. And honestly, that is only a fraction of the list of amazing actors and actresses in this one. And I have no idea how accurate this series is to the true story itself, but even if 50% of it matches the real story of Theranos and Elizabeth Holmes, it is really bonkers. And it doesn't shy away from depicting real toxic corporate culture, the pressure to succeed, and the ethical or moral quandaries of companies and their leadership. It's a compelling narrative. It's filled with twists and turns as it unravels the truth behind Theranos' fraudulent claims. And as many of these series go, I'm sure there are some creative liberties throughout that Hollywood this up a bit, but it is still crazy that any of this really happened. So I would definitely check out The Dropout. It's an intriguing series with an incredible cast and a bonkers story. Absolutely worth checking out for yourself.
Life isn't real. You are Ellie Cohen. You need to remember that.
It's a bit late for that.
My 14th pick here is a series on Netflix that was released back in 2019, but I only got a chance to watch this probably about last year. And this is The Spy, starring Sacha Baron Cohen as one of Israel's most prominent spies, Eli Cohen. This miniseries tells the astonishing true story of Cohen, who infiltrates the Syrian government in the 1960s. And yes, this very serious and dramatic series stars the same Sacha Baron Cohen who portrayed Borat, Bruno, and King Julian in Madagascar. So to say that he went through a pretty crazy transformation in this one is probably underselling it a little bit, but this is a far cry from his iconic comedic roles, as he portrays this very serious and very intense character, showing off a whole different side of his acting prowess. This one really dives deep into the world of espionage. It feels very dangerous, it's full of high stakes, with the actor and the character Cohen navigating a complex web of lies and deception, which does keep you locked in all the way through the series. So with 6 approximately hour-long episodes, The Spy is a perfect quick binge option for fans of historical spy thrillers.
For those of us who lived through the chaos of war, creation was survival.
Then last on our list today is the Apple TV Plus historical drama, The New Look. We follow the menacing Ben Mendelsohn in this one here as Christian Dior, as this visionary designer who must navigate the horrors of World War II and launch modern fashion in Paris. The series focuses in on his life as he transformed the fashion industry at this time in history. This cast includes names like Maisie Williams, John Malkovich, David Kamenos, but Ben Mendelsohn and Juliette Binoche really carry the series for me. They command the screen with their mesmerizing performances as they recreate these pretty intriguing historical figures. And I've said this about Apple TV before, but they really never shy away from pumping huge budgets into their shows. So the production of this series is top notch. Everything looks phenomenal. It features beautiful costumes, sets. The cinematography captures the elegance and the sophistication of this era and the fashion industry. So check out The New Look on Apple TV Plus. It's a stylish and captivating story that explores this intersection of fashion, history, with a ton of intense drama. And that's going to do it for our list here today, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us all the way to the end. Make sure to take a second to enter to win a $100 gift card by liking, subscribing, and commenting your favorite docudrama series in the comments down below. But thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.